Hello and welcome to the Liverpool Wave podcast. We're coming to you after a hard-fought win in the Europa League at LASK in Austria. Once again, the Reds started slower than Dave admitting he's wrong and were deservedly a goal down at half-time. However, a much-improved second-half performance, buoyed by reinforcements from the bench, earned the 3 points. A penalty from Nunez, a lovely team move finished by Diaz, and a late moment of magic from Mo gave the scoreline a more comfortable appearance. I'm Chris Smith, and I'm joined by the aforementioned Dave Usher, the editor at liverpoolway.co.uk, and John Brennan, who's making his return to the pod. Mainly, though, he's here to tell us about the time he nutmegged John O'Shea in the school playground. We'll also be talking a little bit about the game on Sunday against West Ham at Anfield. Dave, if you finally finished chomping on the Haribo you've been smashing through the entire 10 minutes of setting up for this podcast, we got there in the end after a difficult first half, another one. So what's your main takeaway from that?
Main takeaway is, why am I catching all these strays? We haven't even started yet. Fucking big drive-by on me. So I had a few Haribo before we came on. What's wrong with that?
If the listeners had to put up with what I've put up with, for that, and John, for the last 10 minutes, honest to God, it's been... I have that thing called, misophobia, where, certain sounds send me into a desperate rage. And people chewing is one of them. So if I reacted a little strongly to that, then that's why. But I apologise.
That's good to know. Next time you start throwing shade at Darwin, I'm just going to take the Haribo out. I might just do it anyway.
Oh my God. I'm just going to double down. It'd be like red rag to a bull.
No, I don't know what we were really expecting tonight. I mean, you'd like to think it's going to be easy. We're going to score loads of goals and it's going to be great. But it's never like that, is it? Champions League matches are the same. Group stage matches, you're playing a team that's not very good. You think, yeah, we'll roll over these. It doesn't work like that, especially away from home as well. I wasn't worried at any point, even though we're 1-0 down. At no point did I ever think we weren't going to go on and win the game. So I was fairly relaxed about it. I didn't think the performance was great, but I think it was kind of what you would expect, I suppose, just all things considered. I mean, look at Aston Villa tonight. They've gone away and lost. You think these games are easy. Aston Villa should not be losing that game, really, when you look player for player. But it's just, you go away from home in Europe and it's never easy, and that tonight as well. I mean, the pitch was horrendous, so that's not helped. Saying that to me dad when we were watching it, and my dad's like, well, there's two teams playing on it, it's not affecting them. I'm like, well, one, it's their pitch, they play on it all the time, and two, they scored from a set piece, and it's not like they were having to play much football. They were just trying to keep us out, really. And counter-attack when they got the chance. So we're the team that's playing all the football, trying to play on that pitch. The side, the near side, looked like it had just been relayed. It was like a farmer's field. The first half, Costas just kept falling over. Every time he tried to do anything, he was slipping, losing his footing. So, good atmosphere. Their fans were loud all night as well. So these games are just never easy, much as you like to think they would be. On top of that, we've got 11 changes as well, so you got no continuity from the previous game. Even though the players who we brought in, they're all good players, not really played together much. So again, that doesn't help with continuity. But I knew the longer it went, we'd be fine in the end. And you look at what we had on the bench as well. I mean, the second half was decent enough. Got the job done, got the points, get out of there with the win. Minutes for players who needed it. Goals for the three of the forwards. So all in all, yeah, it's fine. It's not great, nothing to get excited about, but job done. No complaints really.
John, I got some quite fond memories of this tournament. I was quite excited to be in some way to be back in the old UEFA Cup. Some of my first memories of watching the Reds in Europe, well, definitely my first memories of watching the Reds in Europe are in the UEFA Cup, but it was pretty clear from the first few minutes today that these lads were no Kusisilati or Apollon Limassol or any of those other unknown teams we've played for a while. They did okay. They started the game well.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I think any team we go to play is going to be there. Not cup final, but we're such a huge name in Europe. They're obviously going to be up for the game. The crowd was well behind them as well. And as Dave said, the team that started against Wolves on Saturday, Klopp made 11 changes. So I saw a tweet at half time. Paul actually reacted to it on Twitter from a TNT saying that we got turned over in the first half. But as Paul said, it's a young team, and none of them have ever played together, so it took a while to settle, and you expect them to come out pretty strong, have a go at us. But same as Dave, I wasn't overly worried even at half time. The one thing I would say is we really need to get our act in order in terms of conceding the first goal. We've played 6 times this season and we've conceded the first goal 4 times. Now, we've obviously beaten Newcastle, Bournemouth, we've won tonight, and we've beaten Wolves as well, having gone a goal down, but eventually it's going to catch up with us, and we need to be much quicker out of traps. Even at the weekend against West Ham, we just can't afford to concede these early goals. I mean, against Bournemouth, we conceded after 3 minutes, against Newcastle after 25, and against Wolves after 7, and tonight after 15 or so. So that's something that I think they need to work on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. Like John said, Dave, after a quarter of an hour, we're 1-0 down, and it's a good hit from the lad Flecker from the corner on the half volley. But it appeared to me as one of those where Alisson doesn't get credit for these saves very often, but he's just kind of finding himself in the perfect position, and he kind of just gobbles that up because it's not in the corner. Do you think Kelleher could be blamed for that in any way?
Blamed? No. I do wonder whether Alisson would have saved it, but that's because Alisson's so much better than any other goalkeeper. And if Alisson would have saved it, he would have probably just caught it in his in the middle of his chest, because, as you say, he's just always in the right position. He doesn't often have to make mad saves. Like, you look at somebody like Pickford, and he makes incredible saves every week, and you think Alisson doesn't really need to make those saves, but because his positional play is just so good in his anticipation. So I wouldn't say that goal was Kelleher's fault, and I think most goalkeepers would have been beaten by that shot. Whether Alisson would is another matter. I'd lean towards no, he probably wouldn't, because you don't see that very often, where the ball's not right in the corner and it goes in. But I definitely wouldn't be saying it's a mistake, or the goal's on him at all. I just think it was obvious what they were going to do. The lad was in so much space, and I think we were just too slow getting out to him, really. And he's brought it down well, and he struck the shot really well. So, you just have to say, yeah, well done, good goal. But I also think that's probably something that they've seen based on watching us. First corner of the game, and that's what they did. It's probably something that they've noticed from watching how we defend set pieces, and they've thought that was on. So they've played it. So, I just have to say, they've played that well, probably done the homework and executed it, but we've just got to be better getting out to close the shot down. Because if you get out and someone closes it down and it takes a deflection and it goes in, you can live with that. It's like, well, we've tried to make the block, we just got a bit unlucky, but I just felt like he had a bit too much time there, really.
Yeah, I think it's something they definitely worked on the training ground, because you can even see the way their bench celebrates that goal. It's just, it's something they've picked up on our defending of corners. But do you boys think that there's a case to be made for Alisson starting these games? Obviously, with the outfield players like Robbo and Mo, Trent, it's different. But I mean, Alisson can play, league games as well. So do you think he's just trying to keep Kelleher happy here? Or?
Yeah, and rightly so. I think you have to promise him the group matches, and the League Cup as well, FA Cup. I don't know. Maybe it just depends on who we're playing. But he could have left. He's a good goalkeeper. He's in demand. Now, we don't know what offers came in, what price we're asking for him or whatever, but I think if you're keeping him, somebody as good as he is, at the age he is, and you're asking him to stay and be second choice to Alisson, I do think you've got to give him a bit of a carrot. And with us being in the Europa League, if it's the Champions League, different story, but the Europa League, I'd have no problems with it. I'd say, yeah, you can play all the group matches. Whether he plays in the knockout stages, I don't know. That's between Klopp and the goalkeepers to decide what they want to do. But the group matches, absolutely, I'd play him in all of them. I mean, I do agree with it. Goalkeepers don't need resting. I think that's like, you shouldn't really ever need to change your goalkeeper. If you change your goalkeeper, you're doing it through choice, really. And the chopping and changing, my dad's against it, but that's because my dad wants Kelleher playing every game. So he was actually quiet on that tonight. He didn't really say anything except when he made that save from the offside one. Great save with his foot. And he was like, "That's my boy. That's why he's number one." I didn't rise to it. I just let him have it. But no, I definitely think he should be playing in the Europa League games.
Yeah. It could effectively double his games, though, couldn't it? Really, because he wouldn't really be playing any Champions League games unless it was a dead rubber.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
if he plays all the Europa League games and we go far in the League Cup and the FA Cup, then it could. We'll be seeing quite a lot of him.
Definitely.
Well, he got at least 6, won't he?
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Obviously, 6 games up to December, and then if we go all the way in this competition, that's 13 games, and add a run in the FA Cup and or League Cup, he could be up to around 20 games. So I think that's enough to have him stay. Yeah,
you'd think it would keep him happy. Because you've got to give them an incentive to stay, and they've got to play some games. And I think that might be a bit much. I don't think they will guarantee him all of the cup games. But it's just let him have the 6 and see how it goes, and then take it from there. It probably depends who you get if you in the knockouts. If you get like another relatively straightforward looking tie, then why not? Why not keep playing him?
Yeah. But Chris's point is really well made. Sorry, Chris, just coming back to your point, it's really well made about increasing his game time, because Alisson started in all those group games last season in the Champions League. So, he's probably going to start every game in the group stage in this competition. So he'll have 6 more games than he did last season.
Which helps for the domestic cups when he comes in, because he's not coming in, having not played for 6 months.
Yeah, true. And it wouldn't have counted anyway because it was offside, but the save he made in the second half with his feet where he diverted it over the bar was an excellent save as well, so credit where it's due on that. It could have got worse in the second half, really. That Luvatic had a really, really good chance where Konate fell over, kind of asking for a foul, but he just kind of took too long, and it enabled Verge to get back in and close down the shot well, and we escaped there. But we didn't really create that much in the first half ourselves. Like our final pass in the final third was mostly abject, and the chances that did fall came to Darwin's head. And we've been saying for ages he could fill his boots in this competition, and it's a shame his boots weren't on his fucking head
tonight.
Because
I've got the Haribos on standby here.
Nope. 2 terrible finishes.
They weren't terrible finishes.
The first header from the Harvey cross, absolute peach of a cross from Harvey from the left.
It was.
And I don't know who was commentating on your stream, but my commentator said, 9 times out of 10, Darwin gets those on target. I think it's probably closer to the opposite. And then, 10 minutes before the break, he had another opportunity with his head after Virgil headed it back across goal. It was a good save by the keeper, but Darwin gets 0 power in it. And he's playing up front through the middle. All the chances have fallen to him, and he's not putting them away. So, John, do you think he could have done any better with those chances?
Yeah, I mean, Andy Carroll would definitely have scored those too.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Just because he's your boy now, because he plays like round the corner from you.
Yeah, he's my neighbour. Well, yeah, the first one, he's got to threaten the keeper. I mean, if he doesn't score, if the keeper makes a good save, but it wasn't even close.
He's got to threaten the crowd behind the goal, first of all. I think that went out for a throw-in or something.
It missed by about a yard.
Yeah,
Fuck off!
It did. There's an angle from behind the goal. It's gone over the top corner by about a yard. He's trying to be too precise, putting in the top corner when he should have just hit the target and hoped.
That's blatant lies.
He's got to do much better, but in fairness, the ball in from Harvey is, it's on a sixpence for him. It's inexcusable to miss a chance like that by that much. And then the second one, where he's basically on the line, he puts it in the only place the keeper has a chance of saving it. He's got to score there. So I mean, it's fine tonight because we've won, and it's a group game in Europa League, but in bigger games he's got to be putting those chances away. So, and this is not me throwing shade at him. I think he's obviously in the team because even his work rate and link up play, it's got much better, which is why he wasn't in the team last year, because Klopp wasn't having him for his lack of track and back and stuff. I think he's got much better there, but he needs to add goals to his game. He's got 3 this season, 1 from a penalty. He just needs to put those chances away, and then nobody will be making those kind of comments about him. But yeah, he definitely should have done better tonight and probably got at least one of those chances.
It's not lack of tracking back though, John. His problem is like he would track back maybe when he shouldn't be. He was like, there was no control to what he was doing. He would chase everything, and that's not how like the press works. It's more organised than that, and he maybe didn't get like the nuances of it. But I think he does now. But yeah, the second one, he didn't get power in it, but it's like the ball, Virgil's headed it into the ground, so it's bounced, and then he's not had like a run up. So it's hard to get like power in. I just think that one goes in more often than not. First one, should have. I think he just timed it wrong. Should have done better with the first one. Should have made the keeper make a save. But again, it wasn't like a sitter or anything. And I do think that he just gets micro-analysed every single chance he gets. No other striker gets that. If Gakpo misses them chances,
putting more of them away.
He's putting them away. He's got 3 goals this season now, and it's not like he's starting all the time. If Gakpo misses them, we're not having this conversation. It doesn't get analysed.
To be fair to Gakpo, missing them. But more.
So all right, Gakpo missed that chance the weekend at Wolves, and it's like it's not a big deal. He sliced it horribly. If Darwin misses that chance, there's a big fucking Spanish Inquisition about it. He's just judged
more often
differently.
Than not, what we talk about, like you've got so many excuses. Like every time there's an excuse about or a reason why the ball didn't go in the net, rather than the fact that he just put it in the net.
Defending
like there's such a thing as there's such a good thing. There's such a thing as like great finishing. Like why can't we just look at these chances and say, "Oh, great finish"?
Well, we did at Newcastle.
All right,
it's only a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. But I think the Inquisition each time, Dave, is because of the price tag as well. I mean,
yeah, that's definitely part of it. But I'm just saying he gets judged far differently to other strikers do, and there is always like a big inquest whenever he misses a chance.
You can subscribe to the Liverpool Way podcast on all the major platforms, whether it's Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon or Podbean. Just search for the Liverpool Way, leave us a review and hit subscribe to automatically receive all new episodes. You can also head to liverpoolway.co.uk and grab a TLW season ticket for just £3 a month. There's tons of exclusive content, including match reports from every Liverpool game, weekly Premier League roundups, the TLW diary and access to the members-only forum. Lastly, you can follow us on social media at The Liverpool Way on Twitter and at The Liverpool Way TLW on Instagram and Facebook. So, we're going 0-0 half-time. I don't know, probably just about on the balance of it deserved to be 1-0 down. I think we didn't play well. We didn't really sort of... I thought towards the end of the first half we got really ragged as well and started to look a little bit frustrated. Yeah. Threw in a few silly fouls. Kanate and Basetic both got booked.
The ref was horrendous, by the way.
Yeah, he didn't give us much, did he?
he was really bad.
Mad decisions, look like the clearest fouls you'll ever see, and he was going, play on. It's like, what the fuck's going on? But yeah, we did get ragged, and the ref didn't help with that. But no, you're right, because I didn't think we played that badly for about half an hour. I know we were getting beat. I was saying to my dad, I'm like, it's not that bad. It's just the end product's not there. We're wasting not so much chances because we didn't have many. Situations where we could easily have created a chance and we just didn't do it. The final ball was like either the wrong option or just played straight to their players. So it wasn't too bad at that point, but then we did get really ragged for like the last 15 and we just started giving it away all over the place.
And John, as has often been the case so far this season, we've gone in at half-time with some stuff to sort out. And I think largely in the main we did that. It did take us another few minutes to get going in the second half. Sort of the final third, as Dave said, there were some good situations that came to nothing. But we did get back on level terms 10 minutes into the half. Great penalty from Darwin after, I guess it was quite fortunate really, because the defender dived in to try and stop the shot. Diaz had skewed it wide, and it was already going wide by the time that he'd been caught, and I felt he was a little bit unfortunate for that to be given a penalty, because you don't really see those ones after the ball has gone be given very often. But yeah, well, how did you view it?
Yeah, I agree on the penalty. I reckon if that had been given against us, we would have been pretty angry about that. It's kind of the exact same thing as the boys said on the pod on Saturday after the Wolves game. Really a game of two halves. Exact same scenario as well, score-wise. 1-0 down at half-time, and we end up winning 3-1. The start of the second half, we had a little bit more purpose about us. But as you said earlier, Chris, the final ball was just really sloppy. I don't think it was helped by the pitch. But as we kind of grew in to the game, I'd say, from definitely when we got the penalty. I think there was only going to be one winner. It was a really good penalty as well by Darwin. He put it away really well, and from then on, obviously we've made changes. I'm not sure that was in Klopp's game plan originally to make that triple substitution after 60 minutes. I think if we had been 2 up or 3 up at that stage, he would have kept some of. Gomez came on, didn't he? Maka and Dom came on. I don't think they would have played half an hour if it had been more comfortable. But in the end, when they came on, the game opened up as well, because the Austrians kind of were a little bit, they tired. I think as the game went on, and when you have the likes of Dom in the middle of the park, he's really good, can exploit space, and there's only going to be one winner after that penalty.
Dave, the subs were interesting for the reasons John said, but it also took out of the game 3 players who I was looking forward to seeing start tonight. Bajcetic started at right back really because he had to. There wasn't really many other alternatives. I was really looking forward to see him playing in midfield and hopefully having a good game there. And we've all been anxious to see a little bit more of Ben Doak. He got a start, and I figure Endo's probably going to play a lot in the competition as well this season. How did you view how those 3 lads did? I mean, Bajcetic probably would have stayed on longer had it not been for the booking and the other fouls he committed. So
yeah,
that's not necessarily a reflection of why he was taken off.
Plus his fitness issues as well. It's a long time since he's played 90 minutes, so they maybe the plan was, what did they have, 70, something like that? Maybe that was the
60.
plan.
60,
yeah. See, I wonder about the subs. I wonder what was pre-planned, because I'm surprised, when you think Darwin and Diaz have played 90 minutes, was that the plan? Because I was fully expecting them to be 2 of the first ones taken off. If things are going well, you get them off, you've got them fresh for the weekend. The fact that they both played 90 minutes, I don't necessarily think that was the plan going into it. I think that was just a result of how the game was going, and we had to take some of the younger players off and get the big heads on, because the game wasn't going according to plan. So I do think that the performance has impacted on what Klopp's done with the subs, because ideally you would have wanted Doak to stay on longer, maybe, as you say about Bajcetic. I do think that maybe it's fitness with him, but I do think that the way the game went influenced it. But I think the starting lineup, I mean, what did we make of that? Because I think that was, I've said I don't want anybody starting the game who's going to be starting at the following weekend. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do Sunday, because I'd imagine that Virgil will start, and I think Kanate will probably start. Not sure about any of the others, because you've got Gakpo and Jota are both totally fresh now. So I'd imagine they're going to start at the weekend. So team-wise, we went stronger than I was expecting us to, but unless you're bringing in kids, that's kind of what the team we would have had to pick, really. Unless you're bringing in the likes of McConnell, Mabea, people like that. And obviously they've maybe got in mind, okay, we'll do that like for the last couple of games if we've already qualified. So we went like
Quansah might have played.
Yeah, the only thing there is because he went off with cramp at the weekend, maybe it was a case of just being a bit careful, because I would have liked him to have played tonight, but it could just be not wanting to overplay him. I don't know, unless he starts on Sunday. You never know, do you? But I thought Doak did a lot of good things, and then there was a lot of times when he's giving it away. But you've got to expect that. I think at this stage you're going to see the best of him when he's coming on like as an impact sub rather than when he's starting. That's like the next step, isn't it? It's like he gets some substitute appearances, the odd start in like lesser competitions like this, and then that's how you develop. So I was really looking forward to seeing him play tonight, and I was a little bit disappointed, but that's on me. That's not really, because there was nothing he did there that was like that should be disappointing, but I just had such high expectations of what he might do. But as I say, that's on me. That's not him. He was fine. He did some good things. He looks lively.
But I also think that we could have done a better job of getting in the ball earlier so he could turn and face the goal.
Yeah,
because a lot of the time he had the ball with his back to goal, and he had no real option but to.
That was when he lost it, wasn't it?
Play it back.
When he was losing it cheaply, it was because of the situations he was being put in a lot of the time. So yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't think we utilised them like as best we could have, but again, a lot of that just comes down to us not playing the right passes in the final third when it was on, because it was on. Like, I don't want to run them down and say like the shit or anything like that, but sometimes when you're struggling against a team and you think, oh, fucking hell, this is going to be hard. We've got our work cut out here because they look so well organised and there's no space for anyone to do anything. That wasn't that tonight. There was space everywhere, but we just weren't playing the right passes to exploit it. So I always felt as soon as we get that right, there's plenty of joy to be had here getting in behind them. And that's how it played out, especially when, as John said, when they got tired. I mean, the game just got so stretched for like the last 25 minutes or so. And when Mo came on, it was like Mo had just like stepped off a different planet to everybody else on the pitch. He was so much better than everybody else on that pitch. But remember, the same thing happens against Rangers. If you've got Mo on the bench in games like this, and then when like they lesser opposition and then they get tired and you put Mo on, it's totally different than when he's like starting a game like that. It's like it's
and
easier for them.
Driven.
Oh yeah, he's like he knows he's only got a little bit of time to get on the score sheet, so he's like just on a mission, isn't he? But like some of the things he was doing.
6 minutes against Rangers or something.
That was it. Last year we beat them 7-1, didn't we? And he got 3 and 6 minutes.
He just came on and just
it's like 2-1 when he came on or something.
I was just reading some stats after the game. He's been involved, so either scored or set up a goal in his last 12 games now in a row.
12 in a row.
Really unbelievable, and that's his 42nd goal in Europe tonight for us. So what a player!
It's a shame we haven't got Paul on with us, so Paul could tell us how he's not that good.
Can I just go back to the starting lineup, boys?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. I think he's been really clever in the way he's managing this. Obviously, we spoke about Kelleher and Tsimikas. I think Costa's signed a new contract as well, hasn't he? So, you have to keep. I think so. Or there's talk of.
He's being lined up for one. Yeah.
So hopefully that'll happen. So kind of keep these fringe players happy. We could try out stuff as well in this competition, I guess, with playing Betetic at right back and kind of moving in field as well. So if we need backup for Trent there, maybe he's the one because he's really good on the ball. And I think he's played Konate and Van Dijk as well, obviously because they've, Van Dijk with the 2 game suspension. I know he was away with the Dutch. And played for them, but Konate has been out for about 3 weeks now since the international break because he never played with France. And then obviously Gravenberch and Endo in the middle of the park is getting them used to the system. So these games are perfect for that. And then up front, obviously Diaz, Nunez have both scored. So in terms of their confidence, it's really good too. And just a final thing on like how clever they've been. Managing the Thursday-Sunday thing. I mean, Curtis, Gakpo, Jota, Allison, Robertson, none of them, even got off the bench tonight. So they'll all be really fresh for Sunday. So I mean, that's what really did for us last season, because we were just exhausted from the previous season of the 63 games, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, and I think being in this competition, paradoxically, is it's obviously we'd much rather be in the European Cup, but it's going to really help us in the league as the season goes on.
That's a good point as well, John, and I think as well, because this is kind of a new team, it's not a bad thing that we're not in the Champions League this year. This is probably beneficial to us now. You're having a season in this competition, and I think we all expect
it's like a dress rehearsal.
It will just be one season in it, but it's good because it takes the pressure off. Like games like this, you're not having to go like completely full strength all the time. You can try different things out because the level of opposition is not going to punish you the way you might do in the Champions League, and because it's a new team, I do think this is it's probably better for us development wise to be in the Europa this season rather than the Champions League, and then next year that's when we should be ready to really kick on. And it's also good for, we mentioned about Kelleher getting the starts. He wouldn't be getting them starts if you're in the Champions League. Other players who've played tonight wouldn't have been getting a game either. So yeah, it's I think as much as none of us wanted to be in it, I think I said several times last season, if we're not getting in the Champions League spots, I don't want to be in Europe. I'd rather just miss out and just have the full week's training to prepare for games. But I don't really feel like that. I don't think this is going to harm us at all. I think it's we can take positives from it if we use it the right way, just to keep everybody involved, giving the likes of Doak and Bajcetic more experience. I just think that's an opportunity for us. And hopefully to win a trophy as well, especially because that's the only one that Klopp's missed out on, really.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited about. Wouldn't it be nice in years to come to sort of look at, there's people online who they make up nice artwork and everything of the players and the managers and all of that. Wouldn't it be nice to see images of him with every trophy, and it would make amends for the 2016 or was it 2017?
2016, yeah.
That we didn't win. So
the Alberto Moreno final.
The Alberto,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but definitely, yeah.
Back to the game for a minute. As soon as we got that more of a familiar midfield on in terms of bringing Dom and Alexis on and shoring us up a little bit at the back with Joe, we really sort of ran away with it from then. And the moment of the night came on 63 minutes. John, just a really, really lovely goal, great team goal. 4 or 5 players involved. Darwin sort of holding the ball up, knocking it off to Harvey, who plays a really nice pass down the line to Gravenberch. First time cross, great finish from Diaz. And after that there was kind of no looking back, really. Great goal and a nice moment. Gravenberch getting an assist on his full debut.
Yeah, it was a lovely goal. As you say, that ball from Harvey down the line was just. I mean, we've mentioned already that our delivery in the final third wasn't the best tonight, but that was a really classy ball, just perfect weight. Loved the fact that Gravenberch got beyond the attackers, and the ball in is just perfect. Diaz just doesn't have to do much, right into his stride, and just reminds me of one of those classic Klopp goals, flowing move, and from then on there's only going to be one winner. Just a word on Harvey. I mean, that pass was unbelievable, and he did he seemed to be everywhere. He gets involved in so much, and obviously it doesn't come off every time, but I really like him, and obviously not just based on tonight, even on Saturday when he came on, the celebration. He just loves being out there, doesn't he? And he came on against Newcastle as well, and played a really vital role in us winning that game. So yeah, he won't start, but he's great. He'll be great for this competition. I think he'll start most games, and obviously he's going to play a big role coming off the bench in the league as well. So yeah, he's really becoming an important player for us now.
Yeah, well said, John. Dave, the assist for Gravenberch, and what did you make of him tonight? Like, my impressions of him playing for as long as he did, obviously he goes off with cramp with 10 minutes to go or so, but he just looks like like a good athlete. He's got a good sort of running gait. Like, he looks like he'll cover acres of ground for us in that kind of box to box style, and he looks like he's sort of tonight he looked like he's quite keen to sort of try the unconventional a little bit, to not always play the simple pass. He looks like he's got a bit of imagination about him as well. Like, I liked what I saw from him tonight. What did you think?
I didn't think he had a brilliant game, but I thought he showed a lot of things that make me think he's going to be a really good player. I think his ceiling's like really high. Just little things like the way he takes the ball on the turn, just his first touch, and the way he moves around the pitch. He just kind of, because he's a tall lad as well, but like he sort of glides about. As you say, really good athlete, powerful runner. Really liked his first touch, his control, and that. The only thing that was, I want to say, lacking, because he's set up a goal with an absolutely brilliant cross. I just thought there was a few times when he got into good positions, like the one when he actually ended up with cramp. He picked the wrong option. He had like two runners, and he tried to go left to Diaz, and he should have gone right to Darwin. So just little things like that, but there's a lot of stuff that he did that just made you go, okay, yeah, I can definitely see what they like there. I just think, like, potentially, like, he looks like he could be a top player, but he's a bit of a project, which we knew that anyway, because when we first got linked to them, which was towards the back end of last season, and the fee getting mentioned then was around about 18 to 20 million, and it was the idea of bringing him in. It was like, well, we're going for Bellingham, but we like him as well, and I was like, yeah, get him in, like, just as a a developmental project. He doesn't need to come in and be great, because that's what Bellingham had before, and you could just take your time with Gravenberch. And I still think that's probably what's going to happen, because I don't think he's been brought in to just say, right, you're in the team, you're going to be first choice every week, because we've already got that with like older players, like players who've got like 2-3 years more experience than he has, like McAllister and Szoboszlai. So there's no pressure on him to just immediately come in, play every week and be great. We can just develop him at our own pace. But you can see there's like so many, like the raw materials there to work with. It's exciting. I liked what I've seen from him tonight, even though, as I say, there was things that he could have done better. But overall, I thought it was a really encouraging debut. What did we think about Steph in that Trent role?
Well, John, I'll let you take that, because I've already said that I didn't really want to see him at...
Yeah, I think it was the case of needs must tonight, wasn't it? Because he didn't want to start Gomez again. He might be thinking about Gomez for Sunday. I'm not sure if Trent is going to be back. I know he's back in training, so I think he was kind of maybe a little bit forced into it. But I also think, as I said before, that this competition is definitely in the group stages. It's a competition where you can try out new things. And I think in terms of, he's no Trent, nobody is, but in terms of ball playing ability and, tactical awareness, he could definitely do a job for us there if we need him this season. So, but I'm like you too. I much prefer him in the middle of the park. I think he's really good. And I mean, how old is he? He's 18. He'll be 19 next month. So, he's signed a contract, hasn't he? We have him tied down for a good few years, I think. And he's going to be like a fantastic player for us in the middle of the park rather than where he played tonight. But yeah, I was pretty happy against a team like this. I think it's a risk we could take tonight, and he did okay, and he hasn't played for ages, so just kind of money in the bank and onwards and upwards.
How did you think he did, Chris?
I thought he had a ropey start. It's difficult, really, isn't it? Because as John says, it's like needs must. But I think I'm just bummed because I didn't get to see him play in the middle.
Would you have played Endo there and played Bajcetic?
Yeah, that's what I would have done. I'd have played Endo at right back, and I would have played Bajcetic at the 6. But we also need to get Endo up to speed as well, don't we? So I've got no real problem with it. I'm just a little bit bummed the way it panned out. We're up More subs. Mo comes on for Gravenberch, who pulled up with cramp. I noticed that you sort of said that he should have he should have laid it off for Darwin instead of going for Diaz. But I think his cramp might have contributed to the poor ball he played. I don't necessarily think it was the bad choice. But and we also saw Joel come on for Konate as well.
Did he have cramp in his brain or his eyes?
Well, it might have affected his decision making. He might not have wanted to go with that foot, for example, to lay it off.
Or maybe you're just doing for Gravenberch what you accused me of doing with Darwin, just like making excuses. But that's okay. We'll move on.
No, you're just upset with him because
he didn't play me boy in. I know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not the fact that it was the incorrect pass; it was just the fact that he didn't play boy in. But Mo, when he came on, Dave, just go ahead, John.
Yeah, sorry. Just Chris, you mentioned Mo coming on after about 75 minutes. How did you two feel when you saw that he was coming on? I was saying, don't do this. I can't remember which player it happened to a few years back in a kind of nondescript European game who came on and got injured, and it was kind of, he was out for a good while after that. I was kind of like that.
Was he? Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, and I was fuming at the time. Like, I'm saying, he had no business even being involved in that game. And
was it Diogo? I think
it was. Yeah.
And I was the same tonight. Like, why bring him on? Obviously, you have this kind of physical Austrian team. Somebody who's going to try to make a name for themselves on a heavy pitch, getting worse by every minute. And I would just have wrapped him in cotton wool and not put him on.
Do you think maybe Klopp just got like sick of like listening to Mo in his ear going, come on, put me on, I want to score, put me on, and in the end he's going, just fucking go on then. Give me some peace and quiet. But no, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, like touch wood, but has Mo ever been injured? He just doesn't get injured, does he? He had a concussion once and he missed a couple of games, but he just, he's Iron Man, so I don't think that's in your head about putting him on. It's like, and I do think there was only one goal in it as well at the time, so it's and it was we were on top, but there was like elements of it being end to end. They brought them two subs on who were quite lively. They were able to carry the fight to us a little bit, like, and they looked like they had a bit of a threat and a break. True. So I think he just wanted to make the game safe, which he did, because as soon as Mo came on, he just totally I mean, it was like everything he did, it was like, fucking hell. Like the first thing he did, he done that run, and then he just done a drag back and right-footed pass inside to someone, and it's one of them where like you just do a double take and you go, whoa, what the fuck? He just he was well up for it, wasn't he? Just outstanding.
Nice. And another assist for your boy Dave. He lays him off, and Mo goes past the defender. He does that so well in that sort of right corner of the 6-yard box, drifting past a couple of players and popping it in the only place he could, really, which was through the goalkeeper's legs.
Well, he could have. There was a couple of other places he could have put it. He had like two teammates waiting for tap-ins. So it's a good job he scored, because if he hadn't have scored there, everyone would have been goal mad. But it was a great goal. Absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant goal. Second best Meg I've ever seen.
Right, I've been waiting to get onto this, John. The floor's yours. Tell us about it.
Well, it's fine margins, isn't it? I mean, what could have been for me? I just in the school playground. So it was, at lunchtime, and it was one of those games where it's like 25 aside, which is ace. And O'Shea was obviously, I'm going to call him O'Shea out of politeness. He was obviously the big dog in the school playground. And everybody knew, because he had been over to England on trials and everything, and just got the ball on the right wing, controlled it with my left foot, and he was wide open, just megged him. And it's like, I didn't even run after the ball, just stayed there.
He just pointed and laughed.
Yeah. So that was claim to fame. But
And then
Yeah.
Ric Flair strutted around the playground.
It's like the Vince walk when he comes down the ramp. I think I just walked off, went to class.
and you've dined out on it ever since.
Absolutely. And
Was he good back then? At least.
No. He was shit when he was good. Hence the name.
Yeah, all right. I think, John, as well, this allows you sort of if you go through the 6 steps of sort of Kevin Bacon rationale, that because O'Shea nutmegged Figo, that means you've kind of nutted Figo by sort of association.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Right.
I knew we were going to speak about this, so I found the game where O'Shea nutted Figo, and it was that game at Old Trafford where Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, got a hat-trick. And it's just, I'm looking at the Real Madrid team here. It's like Casillas, Helguera, Roberto Carlos, Hierro, Salgado, Figo, McManaman, Guti, Zidane, Makelele, and Ronaldo. And I'm in that exalted company. Thanks to that, Meg.
Did Figo win a Ballon d'Or?
He did.
So that means basically you've got a Ballon d'Or, doesn't he?
It does. In my own mind, it does.
Nice. Hey, I'm not going to take that from you. Considering the way Dave goes on about some of his sporting achievements, at least there's an actual rationale to that one. So, 50th win in Europe for Klopp. That's a record for a Liverpool manager now. Unreal, really, and it's just the way that this team under his leadership has sort of racked up these records. As you say, John, Mo with 42 goals in Europe now for us. Hopefully we can keep building those records, and off to King Kenny's bar for the Travelling Reds, which is quite nice. I heard on commentary tonight they used to be called the Chelsea, but they changed it to King Kenny's bar now, which is probably the best pub change name in the history of the world.
Definitely. But
I wonder if they change it in the week leading up to the game.
Yeah, that sounds likely.
I think
because Man United played there a few seasons ago as well. It's probably called Busby's Bar then or something.
Oh, I was going to say something but we may get into legal trouble, so I'm not going to say it.
All right, so don't say it then.
Yeah, I'm
not. All right. 3 points, top of the league. The other group game finished in a draw. So we can put the Europa League to bed for just a little while now and focus on West Ham at the weekend, unless there's something else you guys want to add about tonight's game.
I just say, we will qualify from this group. I just can't see a scenario where we don't. Obviously, we've won away the other game, as you said, Chris, finishing in a draw, so we're kind of already in pole position. Our next game is in 2 weeks' time at home, obviously. So we should be sitting on 6 points there, 6 at this time, 2 weeks. And I think Jules referenced it on Saturday in the pod. It'd be just good to get this out of the way ASAP. So, by the 4th game, if we can win our first 4, and then that'll allow us to really rotate more than we did tonight for the last 2 games. So good job tonight, and looking forward to qualifying from the group pretty handily, and concentrating everything on the league.
What are Toulouse like, John?
Oh, they're really bad. No, yeah, they're the French league is really poor, as you know, boys. It's just one team. They're it's an 18-team league. They're 13th at the moment, so they've played 5 games, scored 5, conceded 6. They've drawn 3 and lost 1. So very average. They'd be fighting relegation in the Premier League. They're not Everton bad, but they're bad.
They drew tonight, didn't he, with the Belgian team?
Yeah, they did.
Were they at home or away?
They were away tonight.
Right.
So, but those Belgians are very poor as well, aren't they? I mean,
in general, the Belgians.
the people, no, that
Yeah.
Belgian, no, this Belgian team is really a pretty poor mid-table team. Again, 9th out of 16 teams, so don't see any issues for us.
Kevin
next
McAllister
week.
playing for them now.
Yeah, no.
I
was just thinking
get
about
over that, you know.
I was just thinking, like they're going to be flying over to play us in 2 weeks' time.
Don't do it, John. Don't do it, John.
Guess on the road.
Yeah, just like the manager is just going to sit up on the plane and just say, shout out at, like when they're over the English Channel, like shout, Kevin!
My family's in Liverpool. I'm in New York.
Oh, God.
And then it just cuts to a montage of him like on the Empire State Building and hanging out with an old pigeon lady in Central Park and stuff. Nice. Yeah, there you go. Too good. So Dave, West Ham at home on Sunday, 2 p.m. kickoff. Tough game this.
Yeah, they've started the season quite well.
Well,
I know they got beat last week, but they give City a bit of a scare, didn't they? So, yeah, last season West Ham were never as bad as the league position suggested. It's like you just kept waiting for them to just pull away, and they never really did. But they were doing well in Europe, so you knew they weren't like completely shit or anything. But they look like they've rallied. I know they lost Declan Rice, but they seem to have like bought quite well, and they've started the season well. Interesting that Michail Antonio like putting himself out there and actually saying we're going to finish above Liverpool. It's like it's easy to just like ridicule him for that, but like I kind of admire the fact that like he had the balls to just come out and say something. Like it's the kind of shit that I'd do, just like totally outlandish predictions that are like never going to come off. But it's like
Morrison.
Yeah, but if you do it and it does come off, like you can just dine out on that forever, like JB and his Meg and John O'Shea. I mean, John's not telling us about how many times he tried to do it and it didn't work. It's all about the one time when it did. So I mean,
it was the one
to
off.
Antonio for doing that. I think all right, yeah, you're totally wrong. You've got no chance of finishing above us. I don't think West Ham in my lifetime have ever finished above us. It's certainly not going to happen this year, but. Respect for actually having the balls to come out and say something so daft. I do think he's a decent player. He just tends to like pick up injuries and that. But when he's fit and he's playing well, he's a threat. He's a handful. Always seems to play well against us as well. So it'll be a tough game. I just feel like it'll be close, but I feel like we're just finding a way to just get these wins now, aren't we? It's like everything's not firing on all cylinders. But we're doing enough, and I'd expect it to be like that on Sunday as well. Difficult game, but we'll come through it.
That's why it's important that we ended up with the win tonight. Just keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Definitely.
pretty at times, but doesn't matter.
Yeah, we still have this unbeaten run now from the end of last season, don't we? I think it's up to maybe 16, 17 games. We've obviously won 5 out of our first 6 this season, which was really good, and I think we need to be careful against them, especially with set pieces, because that lad from Ward Prowse, is it? He's really good in dead ball situations.
They've got a lot of height as well.
Yeah, so I think we'll be okay. I'm just interested to see who he goes with at the back. I think Virgil is obviously going to start every game, isn't he? I mean, you had this discussion at the start of the season. The fact that he's captain, he has to start, really.
Yeah. He was good tonight.
He was. Yeah,
he had a good game.
Just depends who he plays alongside him. I think his preferred partnership is Konate and Verge, but you just can't depend on Konate in terms of injuries, really. So, hope Trent is back.
Yeah, I think he'll be on the bench at best.
Yeah.
I just think after a muscle injury, it's rare that Klopp just puts somebody straight back in the team. I think if he was going to start on Sunday, he'd have been on the bench tonight and maybe got like 15 minutes or something. The fact he didn't travel tells me like he's probably not going to be involved, or at best he'll be on the bench. And it's fine, I'm okay with Joe Gomez playing. I'm fine with that. I think he's you know, he'll do like a steady job for us.
Yeah.
Nice, especially, you know, West Ham have a decent amount of threat from wide positions as well, and we might need a more defensive minded player in that position.
Yeah. Plus set
what about
not a problem. Yeah.
What about the middle of the park, boys? Who would you go for in there?
It'll be the same three as last week, won't it? It'll be McAllister, Dom, Gertis.
Yeah.
Especially based on tonight's team selection.
I think that's why he maybe brought on McAllister as well tonight, because he may as well not have played against Wolves in the first half, you know, with that jet lag issue. So it was good for him to get half an hour tonight too.
You see all that like the interview McAllister did back in like, I think he spoke to someone in Argentina, and the quotes have been reported here where he said like all the players are giving him shit, saying like Klopp's like his dad.
But
did you see that picture of them like after he'd been subbed?
On the bench?
Yeah, he was sat on the corner and Klopp just had his hand on his leg as if to say, "Don't worry, son, it's all right." Yeah, it looks like he's the new Lallana, doesn't it?
It does. And I think the front three picks itself on Sunday, Mo, Diaz and Darwin. So
well,
it won't be that though, will it?
It should be.
It'll be Jota and Gakpo.
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah. I think
he'll go played all those minutes tonight.
He'll go with the fresh legs, and I don't mind that, because you've got Diaz and Darwin coming off the bench, and I keep saying about how important subs are for us this season. So I'm totally fine with starting with Gakpo and Jota and Mo, and then you get to like the hour mark, and if maybe things aren't going so well, well then look who you're bringing on. And even if things are going well, and you're bringing them on in a game that's wide open, it's like the last thing that West Ham are going to want to see, 65, 70 minutes or something like that on Sunday, is Nunez and Diaz coming off the bench. So yeah, I'm fine with him doing that, and I do think that's what he'll do. I mean, I'll be pleasantly surprised if my boy gets the start, but I'm not expecting it.
And why do you boys think that, you know, why didn't he do that tonight then, as in play Cody and Jota tonight in, you know, the Europa League, and the two boys on Sunday?
Yeah,
because Darwin's not his first choice for it necessarily, is he? We haven't really established that yet.
Yeah,
he
maybe
probably went into the game thinking that he wants to play Gakpo and Jota.
It could be a horses for courses thing as well. It's like how West Ham play. What does he want to do against West Ham? Do we want like Gakpo dropping off and then Nunez coming off the bench later on when it gets stretched? Because there's also merit to that as well, because the way West Ham play, would anyone be surprised if it was 0-0 like 65, 70 minutes? You know, West Ham are like quite solid. They're a defensive team, quite solid. It might be difficult to break them down, and Darwin starting a game like that against like a packed defence where he might not be getting much service, as opposed to bringing him on, and Diaz coming on as well as an impact sub when there is a bit more room later on when people are a bit tired. You know, it might make more sense to go with Jota and Gakpo anyway. But I do think it'll be based on the opposition. Like, I think tonight's team will be. It was what I was saying I wanted them to do. It's like, okay, well, if they're playing at the weekend, they're not going to start that game. Now it's slightly different with centre backs, because you can just play them. They don't do as much running as anybody else. But so I think like you'll probably see Virgil and Canate, and I think most of the rest of the team's going to change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he might play Matip with Virgil.
Possibly, because you might not want to overdo it with Canate. And I'd be totally fine with that. It would make sense.
Yeah. It's as you say, it's important to win. Every game obviously, but we have a tough run coming up. I mean, West Ham, then we go to Brighton away, and then
Spurs.
I think Spurs as well. So no, we go away to Spurs, and then we go away to Brighton. So a few tough games coming up.
Yeah, not easy.
Yeah, and then the derby, so just 3 points anyway.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we've got, you know, we don't have to look at these tough games with, oh gosh, we've got the League Cup game next week, home to Leicester as well. Nice. That's a favourite of mine. We don't have to look at some of these upcoming tough games with such trepidation, because we've got some points on the boards. Like, I wouldn't like to be going into Tottenham away and Brighton away, or even West Ham at home, the way those three teams have sort of started the season. If we weren't competitive ourselves, it'd be like, oh gosh, this has been a bad start, and it could conceivably get much worse. Well, the good thing here is we've got points on the board. We're gaining confidence. Yeah. We can go into all 3 of those games sort of thinking about picking up more points rather than worrying about the outcome, I think.
Yeah, they should be more scared than we should.
Yeah, definitely. Good
stuff.
Stuff.
It took us so long last season to get into we never got into a stride, really, did we? But so this season we've already got 13 points out of 15. So should be confident.
Get back to being the team that nobody wants to play, as opposed to last year when everyone was just rubbing their hands together to play us.
Right. And
took us 11 games to get to 13 points last season.
Fucking hell.
Scrub that from my memory. That was rough, wasn't it?
I know it is bad, but that is actually surprising.
Yeah.
Well,
God.
A big key to one of the things that we haven't, our reactions have definitely improved in the last few weeks. But one of the things that we didn't do well last year that's carried over into this season is just conceding that first goal. So let's hope that on Sunday we can just make a good start in a game for a change, and take the lead and keep it, and we're not behind the 8 ball after 10-15 minutes or whatever, because it's starting to get a bit tiresome now. And as you said earlier on, John, there's only so much you can do. It's going to start catching up with us, and we don't want that catching up with us against David Moyes, that's for sure. All right, good stuff, guys. Anything else that you guys want to add before we call it a night?
No, I think we've covered
all good for me. Yep.
Good stuff. All right, well, Dave and the boys will be hot-footing it back from Anfield on Sunday to make sure we bring you a pretty quick reaction from Liverpool West Ham. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for listening. We're looking forward to these Europa League games throughout the season. So, the early kickoffs at least give us an opportunity to get the pod out a little bit earlier in the evening. So hopefully this one will be waiting for you in the morning. As I said, Dave will be back on Sunday, but until then, we'll catch you soon.
Well, the best word I can say, but will describe this, was boom. Ooh, what was this? It was really good.